Welcome to Bunky's Do-It-Yourself.
We were lucky enough to have inherited a pool heater with our property. We've had our pool heater break down twice in the last 5 years. If we would hire someone to take a look at our pool heater, it could cost almost $800. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to troubleshoot your pool heater and hopefully get it going again. I'm also going to do a top-down cleaning of the pool heater. I will also include a link to the PDF just in case I missed anything. A couple of days ago, we noticed that our pool heater was not heating up the pool. Before I tear into it mechanically, there are 3 things that can stop the pool heater from working. The pool heater will automatically shut off if there's no flow through the heater. So first I need to go ahead and make sure that the basket is cleaned and I have flow going out of the pool heater. So the first part, the flow looks perfect. Next is to make sure that the gas valve is open. And last is to make sure that the power is plugged in and there's power going to the unit. Since my pump is running off of the same plug, all I need to do is make sure that the plug is in. Normally in the on position with the temperature knob all the way over to the left, you will hear something that sounds like gas going and a click, 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 and then it'll stop clicking and you'll hear a whoosh as the heater starts. So before opening the unit, I'm going to go ahead and close this gas valve. I'm also going to leave it plugged in so I can find out what part needs to be replaced. Now let's open up the case. This will take 2 different size screwdrivers, a flathead and a Phillips head. The 2 Phillips are down here and the flathead is right here in the middle. After removing the panel, you see the gas valve, a sight glass to see if the flame is there, and a fusible link. And go ahead and read up on the safety on opening this up. I wouldn't suggest doing this unless you know what you're doing. Now I need to go ahead and remove these 2 screws in order to troubleshoot this heater further. Now to open this panel, it needs to be pushed down and pulled out. Oof, let's try not to be overwhelmed. First, let's check and see if there's power going into the unit. I've had to replace cords in the past. We know we have power to the outlet, as stated earlier. Now I follow the white and black wires. These 2 connector points will be a perfect spot where I can check and make sure that the cord is not burnt out. And here they are. Okay, let me see if I can get a reading off of them. As you can see, 117 AC volts. Should be anywhere between 110 and 120. Now we need to find out whether the transformer is working. So we need to follow these blue and yellow wires. This blue wire goes to a manual switch. This is this switch right here. I've had switches go bad in the past, so it's best to check both sides. Now the yellow wire goes to this ignition board. It's this big guy over here. So I go ahead and test the switch and make sure that there's 24 volts going to the circuit, which we have about 26 volts. I'm going to go through all of the connections on this board since I think it's an ignition problem. Since the only other board is a temperature control board, and since it gets its same 24 volt from a pigtail coming from the ignition board. And here's what I found. This black and white wire had no power going to it, meaning it was one of these sensors that might be the problem. Any of these 4 sensors will stop the ignition process. The first sensor that I can get to is this rollout sensor. It's a fusible link. It monitors the flame inside the gas heater. If the flame gets hot or creeps back into the unit, the link fuses and shuts down the unit. They can also fuse due to electrical issues. If you have to replace this multiple times, there might be something wrong with the electrical system. So you want to go ahead and check all of the wires, making sure that there's no loose wires, and make sure everything's well grounded. I'm going to go ahead and detach these wires from the rollout switch and bypass it with a wire. I'd much rather you do this with an insulated wire than what I'm doing. Now I can flip on the on switch and see if the heater kicks in. That clicking sound is the igniter. Now I don't have the gas on, so it's not going to start. After making sure to shut off the on switch, I can remove my bypass wire. And as you can see, with the switch on, we have 23 volts. This means that the fusible link had fused. Now this can be due to a couple of incidents. One is over temperature conditions. This is usually caused by excessive restriction in the heat exchange, high winds, etc. Here I install the new fusible link. After the link is installed, I need to close up the unit, test the unit, making sure that it turns on, and then I'm going to clean out the entire unit. And if it still gives me an issue, it could also indicate an electrical issue. In this circumstance, we had no issues after cleaning out the unit. I know it might be hard to hear, but it started right up. But I'm going to go ahead and secure it and do some more maintenance. We've had this unit for about 4 years now. I think it's about time to blow out all the bug guts, and I'll show you around the unit while I'm at it. So there are also 2 high limit switches that can go bad that are set to 135. They are located on the inlet and outlet. There's a small panel in the back that you are able to access these without removing the whole upper unit. But since I need to clean all the bug guts off of this thing, I'm going to go ahead and access them and test them out. I undo all the screws upon the top panel and go ahead and vacuum all of the bug guts that I can see. And I do the same thing for the next level, making sure not to lose any of the screws. I wanted to do a double check of the high limit switch, so I removed them earlier and tested them in a boiling pot of water. Let me give you a closer look of where they're located. As stated earlier, they're on the inlet and outlet of the unit, and here I am installing them. You need to add a thermal compound between it and the unit for better heat transfer. That's that silver stuff in the hole. In the same area, we have an analog temperature system and a flow sensor. Now that I've cleaned all the guts and replaced the upper limit thermostats, I can go ahead and button this whole thing up and try to access the bottom. In my experience, it's always best to clean from top to bottom. This is just me attaching all of the parts back together. Now that the top is buttoned back up, I can go ahead and remove the bottom part. I'm going to go ahead and end up removing the gas valve and the burner tray in order to suck out any debris that's fallen into the unit. Ensuring that all the gas valves are secure, I go ahead and start removing the pipes going into the unit. After detaching this union, I can unthread this pipe from the gas valve. There are 4 screws on this back panel that needs to be removed before you can remove the entire burner tray in order to clean it. Once it's removed, it pretty much pulls right out. There is a connected wire going to the pilot light that can be removed as well. I didn't bother to take it out. I had enough slack that I could set it off to the side and clean it the best I could. And there you have it. For me not touching it in about 3 or 4 years, it looks pretty darn good. Now I'm just going to clean it up a little bit with the vacuum, and then I'm going to go into the unit and suck up any animals that might have crawled in there. And there I am trying to avoid removing the wire to the pilot. And of course I'm just going to vacuum out this area the best I can. I'm going to do a quick inspection of the pilot wire, making sure that it's not damaged before putting it back together. Now I can just reinsert the burner tray. Reinstall the 4 screws that holds this panel together. Now I install this small heat reflector that keeps the heat away from the gas valve. I attach the wires to the rollout switch and ground the gas valve. And here I am scraping some of the rust with a screwdriver in order to get a better ground. And I used the yellow pipe thread sealant tape in order to seal the gas pipes that were damaged while this repair was going on. I don't know why, but every time I put on any type of pipe thread tape, I always end up getting very dyslexic and having to redo it. And now I can reconnect the union. Now I close up this panel, open the gas valve, turn on the heater, and enjoy the pool. Now the average cost of pool heater repair is between $160 to $780, and replacing a brand new unit is a couple $1,000. So just replacing a $20 part and doing basic maintenance can really save the day. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.